Namaskar and welcome to NFL Masala. I'm your co-host Sanant.
And I am your other co-host, Rakshak. Welcome to Season 4, Episode 6 of NFL Masala, where we talk about all the latest happenings in the NFL with a little bit of spice. And by the way, I got a question for all the listeners, and even you, my friend. Did you miss us or did you miss us?
Exactly. Because I'm sure everybody missed us. We just got 2 new subscribers on YouTube. I saw the email notification. So
Let's
thank you guys
go.
for
Road to 100 subscribers. One objective.
Exactly.
No, we crossed the first milestone. 10 subscribers. Now the next goal is going to be 15.
Exactly. So today we're going to be breaking down another AFC division, this time the AFC North division. But we're going to have a little twist. We're going to have a guest come on the show who's going to talk about the Bengals. And he's a guest who's been on the podcast before as well, on our draft show and a couple of other podcasts before. Welcome back to the show, Mr. John. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for having me back. It's going to be interesting talking about this AFC North. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
We have a lot of interesting conversations ready to go. Now, before we do talk about each of the division previews, we got to break some Dhamakadar news. And we start off with some Kachda news. That being a jail time or sentencing for Rashee Rice, the wide receiver from the Chiefs, who last year was responsible for a multi-car crash in the Dallas area. According to the Dallas County District Attorney's Office, he pleaded guilty in district court to 2 third-degree felony charges: collision involving serious bodily injury and racing on a highway causing bodily injury. For this, because he is rich and he is wealthy and he plays for the NFL, and more specifically, he plays for the Chiefs, he only gets sentenced to 30 days of jail time and 5 years of probation today. And this 30 days of jail time can be assigned any time in the next 5 years, which basically means he gets a 30-day vacation to a jail or prison sometime in the off season. That's great.
Can I just say one thing really quickly about this? And I quote from a very underrated Dave Chappelle comedies clip from from this film called Half Baked.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay, I thought I was, but you know what? Just for the audience, I have to say one thing to you.
Boo this man!
Yes.
My thoughts,
Man, he's pled guilty, which is fine. He's also paid $115,000 in restitution to the victims of the crash, which is fine. But we also need to see what the NFL is going to announce in terms of
season ban that asshole.
Yeah, in terms of a ban. But most likely what many reporters and analysts have been predicting is it's going to be a light multi-game suspension, probably anywhere from 3 to 5 games. So yeah, welcome to the real world where rich people don't have to face consequences of their actions. Let's go. It pays to be wealthy, man. I think
I'm gonna regret saying this, but I just feel like I have to say this. Week 2, when the Eagles play the Chiefs and we see Rashee Rice on the floor,
body bag, bro. Body brag.
No, I just as Anna says, I pray that Sidney Brown, if he wants a spot on the team, I want him to Brian Dawkins spear the fucking shit out of this asshole.
Yep.
And the thing is, I usually don't like to say stuff like this, but this type of stuff, along with many other vices, infuriates me. That type of shit infuriates me.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'll say. Moving on, the Washington Commanders. So this is the funny thing is about this story. Last night, as I'm finishing dinner from a friend's place, I get the message that, and I think this was actually from Cozy of the Swoop Boys. He makes a notice on the Twitter on our thing. It's like, whoa, someone made a move, and I looked at it, and yes, according to Adam Schefter, the Washington Commanders are signing veteran defensive end Von Miller. Their pass rush,
right, and that is what we
ability.
broke yesterday night.
We talked about that. So,
This is the first time hearing of this.
oh, it's your first.
Oh,
time?
really?
Yeah, I did
Bro.
not hear this.
Yeah. So please proceed with the Market News. We are actually blowing somebody's mind right now.
Okay, so
Let's go.
quickly, it all started with Miller. He posted 2 pictures of himself in a Washington Commanders jersey in his IG account Wednesday night. He, throughout his career, 129.5 sacks to rank 16th in the all-time list. And he still, but the thing is, he has, like for any other team, he has to pass his physical and then sign a 1-year deal. And he's 36 years old, last 3 seasons with the Bills, 14 sacks, 8 in his first season and 6 last year. Washington is hoping what he did for LA basically serve as that final piece for the Super Bowl title run. And the Rams did acquire him during that in the midseason trade. He had posted 5 sacks in 8 regular season games, 4 in the playoffs, en route to a Super Bowl. And he was also the MVP of that one Super Bowl with the Broncos, in which was Peyton Manning's last game. And I think this really helps out the Commanders because the Commanders pass rush, they recorded 43 sacks, 11th best in the NFL season last year. But the Commanders have not only re-signing Frankie Louvu, but also getting Dietrich Wise, Jacob Martin, as a part of this veteran lineman. And I mean, having Miller come in probably as a rotational piece, he doesn't need to start right away. Mm-hmm. This is big for the Commanders. And I think they will easily compete with the Eagles for the NFC East. And I was talking about this with Anand about this, and I don't think the Eagles are going to repeat the NFC East because, again, there is this curse in the NFC East division. Since 2004, there has not been a repeat winner. No team has won back to back.
That is insanity. That is actual insanity. I don't think, the laws of parity would probably ensure that there was some repetition in the consecutive division winners.
Yeah,
there should have been something, but the fact, what is the probability that for 20 years there has not been a single repeat NFC East champion? Not only that, the only division in the NFL to not have that, right?
Yeah.
So that's incredibly low probability. Beats the laws of parity. Anyways, so we'll see if the Commanders are truly a Super Bowl contending team. Are they just that on paper? Because they do have the oldest roster in the league at roughly, I think, 28 years old. Either 28 or 31 years old.
Right.
So they are a bunch of old people trying to win one last Super Bowl before their time is up.
And let me say this to that. I think it was definitely good signing by the Commanders because they needed help. They needed a veteran voice, but I want to see how much that contract is, because if it's ridiculous, not a veteran's minimum, guess who's already pissed about not getting signed to a contract?
Mm-hmm.
Scary Terry McLaurin.
Yep.
And there
That's gonna
are
be interesting.
there are rumors. I was checking like on NFL Prime, and I think I tried like chatting. I tried to ask some NFL insider Matt Lombardo on Threads. I DM'd him thinking like, if Scary Terry does not get signed to a team, you know what? Let's talk about it for like a few minutes. John, I'm dragging you in this conversation. If Scary Terry does not re-sign with the Commanders, or if he doesn't get extended, where do you think he goes?
Oh man, there's a lot. There are a few teams that I'm thinking of with Scary Terry. Baltimore's probably the main one.
Oh,
If you put him on that Ravens roster, that's something different, especially with the defense they have now. And just they've always had good weapons, but nothing really that sets them over the top. Scary Terry is a weapon that can set them over the edge with that. Honestly, another team that I'm thinking of is Denver. You pair him up with
very good piece.
Ooh, man, you're actually cooking with these.
If
Bro,
you
you have some inside information or something?
Dude, I think he's giving Abhishek a run for his money.
Oh yeah.
Abhishek, you better come into one of the episodes, man. He about to take your spot.
Those are the two main ones, though, that I think of. There are, of course, other teams. You know, you could go to the lower level teams. Vegas, Houston would be an interesting one. I don't really see that happening though, with them trying to piece together receiving core and with all the money they've been spending. I don't really see that happening. But
they already got another wide receiver in the second round, right? In the draft.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Houston, Denver, and Baltimore. I think those are two very likely targets. I really don't see them trading to someone, obviously not in the division, but also not in the NFC, because they're projecting themselves to have a Super Bowl run, and they don't want to see someone like Scary Terry potentially be on their way, on the road to the Super Bowl in their path. So I think you're right. I think if they do trade, if they don't sign, which is asinine to think that, I think that they should sign. But if they don't eventually sign, then most likely he's going to be traded to an AFC team. So I do agree with that. All right. Another signing. This time it's a pass rusher, and arguably the best pass rusher in the league. TJ Watt of the Steelers agrees to a record-breaking 3-year, $123 million deal. He makes him, the Steelers have now made him the highest paid non-quarterback in history, again, at $41 million a year average, which tops the 40.25 average salary given to Jamar Chase and the $40 million for Myles Garrett earlier this offseason. So the Steelers have definitively said that TJ Watt is better than Myles Garrett. In that never-ending debate between the Steelers fans and Browns fans, it is TJ Watt who earns more money now. So, yeah, Steelers just doing Steelers things, just retaining. I mean, yes, TJ Watt is the best pass rusher in the league, but man, I'm going to get into this in a little bit. Surprise, surprise. The Steelers need a wholesale destruction of the entire organization. Like, they need to get rid of basically everybody.
But here's the thing about this, bro. But they cannot stop the bullshit. The bullshit that is Steelers football. Yep. And quoting urinating tree, the Steelers will go to the Super Bowl no matter what.
They're addicted to the stank, bro.
And it's a high-end
It's
talent.
a fetish.
It is a
it is a fetish for them.
Oh God.
Any comments, John?
No comment here. It's just kind of Pittsburgh being Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
Dallas got Super Bowl. That's all. Okay.
Yeah.
And last but not least, and So I do have like two sets of the Makidar news. The first one
Mhm.
being former wide receiver of the Chargers, Mike Williams. He announced his retirement to this Thursday. He did inform the Chargers front office of the wide receiver's decision. It came as a shock to the organization. He'd been working off to the side during the Chargers offseason activities, just trying to rehab from an undisclosed injury. They placed him on the PUP list ahead of training camp. But with this, Mike Williams, he spent 7 years with the Chargers before being released ahead of the 2024 season. Spent last season with the Jets and Steelers, joining Pittsburgh at the trade deadline, then rejoined the Chargers to a one-year contract in March. He ranks 10th in the Chargers franchise receiving yards list. Chargers franchise receiving yards list with 4,806 yards. Also 13 in receptions for 309 and 31 touchdowns. Favorite target of QB Justin Herbert. In the 4 seasons they played together, Williams had 200 receiving yards for 2,924 receiving yards and 18 touchdowns in 46 games. 200 receptions, by the way. And I mean, it sucks, but I think it's going to be leaning more towards like the Vlad McConkey and Quentin Johnston, or the other targets that we were discussing yesterday, Anant, or Marion Hampton, which I think.
Oh
will be
yes.
more.
Yes.
It'll be, but then again, it's like, what can the Chargers do? I think maybe they bring back the ghost of Keenan Allen.
I heard somewhere, and this is Abhishek. I saw Abhishek posted in our group chat. They should go after Amari Cooper. And you know what?
I see
think
why
that's a
not.
perfect fit.
That's a good fit. Amari Cooper.
You got Ladd McConkey in the slot. You got Amari Cooper on the outside. You got their recent second-round pick on the outside. And if Quentin Johnston somehow remembers to catch the football, he can be an explosive, not explosive, but a possession receiver as well.
Yes.
So they should go after Amari Cooper and treat it like the Rams going after Devontae Adams.
I think that's a good idea too. Yeah.
Alrighty.
And last but not least, this touched for me as an Eagles fan.
Yes.
We got the terrible news in the morning that former Houston Texans and Philadelphia Eagles linebacker Brian Bremen, he died today after seeking treatment for this year for a rare aggressive form of cancer, according to his agent. 38 years old, leaves behind 2 daughters. And he had undergone multiple surgeries during his treatment in Seattle. I think he was diagnosed back in February, and everyone was like trying to pay for his GoFundMe. And I think it's very sad. And one thing I'll remember Bremen for, like he said, like, of course, like during his seasons with the Texans, he was a big he was basically a good defensive end, but during his 4 seasons with Philadelphia, loyal teammate, and he was a member of that Super Bowl 52 winning squad. And with this, so he basically won a Super Bowl with the Eagles after joining the team for the playoffs. So there were 2 plays that Brian Bremen. First of all, he didn't recover a punt during that Falcons division game, but he also blocked a punt. And in the divisional round, and the Super Bowl victory was Bremen's final game. He beat the odds after going undrafted, and he was a special teams dog, man. He was basically like saying, like, we play with fucking violence, like watching the video stuff, and then my heart aches for him. So that rest easy, champ. You earned it.
Yep. Rest in peace, bro.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get started with the AFC North preview. Boy, we got a good team to talk about.
Finally!
finally a good team, but
Not about
a
Devil
very
Magic.
interesting team.
Not
Exactly.
Devil Magic.
Not Devil Magic. Unfortunately,
John,
the
are you ready?
recipient.
John,
What?
are you ready to know what team this is that we're referring to? The one that is untouched by Devil Magic.
No, they've been on the opposite end of Devil Magic, bro. By Chiefs fans, they've been on the opposite end. The Baltimore Ravens. That's
Yeah.
who.
Yeah.
The opposite end of so many frustrating losses, man. Every single year in the Lamar Jackson era, they have become regular season champs almost every single year, but they fail to register meaningful success in the playoffs, right? They've changed coordinators. They've changed defensive coordinators. They've gotten rushing support. They've gotten wide receiver support. They've gotten a really nice tight end. They've upgraded the offensive line. They've even drafted a great defense, and yet they still keep failing in the playoffs. This year, it was a dropped 2-point conversion to tie the game. Last year, it was a refusal to run the football, even though they had literally the best running offense in the league. The year before that, Lamar wasn't even there, and it was Tyler Huntley. And you just keep looking at the track record, just way too many failures in the playoffs. And you can link a lot of these instances to just them veering away from what makes them great. And unfortunately, Lamar not being clutch in clutch moments, which is, John, bear with me for a second, because I'm going to drop a revelation. It's exactly like Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs.
No,
In the
it is.
playoffs.
You can definitely compare Baltimore to, especially, I would say, between 2014 and 2018 or 2017, where they had the team on paper. The Ravens look like a phenomenal team that can get it done, just like the Packers were. They have the quarterback. They have weapons. The rotating wheel of weapons that whoever you want to call on, they somehow made the plays. But in the playoffs, it was just either terrible luck or just the inability to get it done, whether it was from crappy play calling, drop passes, busted coverages, just you name it.
Yep. Yep. You hit the nail on the head. Thank you for completing that analogy. I mean, you even look at playoff success for Lamar, or lack thereof, and his performance in his playoff games. He's had 8 games in the playoffs going back till 2018. His average completion percentage is 60.6. 1,753 passing yards. I'm not including rushing yards because this wasn't provided here. But even if you do include the rushing yards and the rushing touchdowns, you still have 7 interceptions. So 10 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And this is the key thing. 0 game-winning drives. 0 in 6 years. 0. You know how many Mahomes has in the playoffs alone?
Don't remind me.
8 game-winning drives, which means even though he's had amazing defenses and he's had Tyreek Hill, when the game rested on his shoulders, he delivered. Final drive of the game, he delivered. Joe Burrow has 2 game-winning drives. One in 2021, one in 2022. Jalen Hurts has 0. Going back 4 years. 0 game-winning drives. Meaning he hasn't been really the engine of the success. But that's a whole nother conversation. I don't want to trigger and have death threats coming from Eagles fans, so I'm just going to, be quiet.
I'm just going to wait for the NFC East.
East. Yeah, that's
Will we probably bring in
spicy.
Asaf or Pete, or maybe I introduce a weapon that is Cozy Bryant.
Yeah. But going back to Lamar, it's been very average. When you look at his passing statistic, 5.3 adjusted net yards per attempt, which means he's not really passing the ball. There's only one year where he threw on average more than 300 passing yards a game. That was in 2019, which means either they've relied on his rushing ability a little bit too much, or they just haven't made the correct amount of plays in the right moments. Now, to his credit, he has been getting better over the seasons. Over his career in the playoffs. This year was actually his best year in his entire playoff career. This year, 74% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception on 2 games played, 8.98 adjusted net yards per attempt, almost 3.5 more. But still, and also the lowest sack percentage on the entire in his entire career, highest passer rating of 122.5. So this year was the year where he showed up. But unfortunately, luck was not on his side. And when you look at the regular season, I'm going to keep it short because the story with the Ravens is not their regular season success. It is always their playoff success. Last season, offensively, they were literally the best offense passing and rushing wise on DVOA. Literally the best. They have figured out the perfect scheme to generate explosives and get points. Number 1 in EPA per pass. Even without the greatest wide receivers. I mean, you had, Hollywood Brown for like 6 games as your best receiver? And still, they were able to be the number 1 passing offense in terms of explosive potential, which is EPA per pass, and overall success, which is DVOA. So really for next year, their regular season doesn't even need to change. Just build off the same concepts that you've developed during this last season. Use Derrick Henry the same way that you guys have been using this past season. Their offensive line is extremely solid. The interior is really good. They just, have increased the level of effectiveness of their tackles, right? Roger Rosengarten, going into his second year, has done a really good job last year as a rookie. So they have a good offensive line. They have the second best running back in the league behind Saquon Barkley. They have the third best running back in the league in Lamar Jackson. And I don't know if you want to switch Lamar and Derrick Henry at 2 and 3. Doesn't really matter. But still, they have Isaiah Likely, a top 15 tight end in the league, top 10, you could say. So really, their offense doesn't even need to change much. Just build off of what you had done in the previous year. Their defense also has been pretty good. And this is where it could develop a little bit more. This is where we saw this past season in the playoffs, their defense, unfortunately, not coming to play, which is a lot like the 2020 Packers when you look at it against the Bucks when Aaron Rodgers had another MVP season, but unfortunately, bad luck and bad defensive plays, did not allow us to move further. So when you look at their defensive performance last year, overall, they had the 6th best DVOA, 8th pass rush, and 4th in terms of 8th best pass defense and 4th in terms of overall rushing defense. Now, this unfortunately leads to a specific point, which is their pass rush and their secondary. Their pass rush needs to improve a little bit. It was only 11th in adjusted sack rate and 15th in pressure rate, while being 25th in blitz, which is good, which means they rely a lot on their front 4 to get pressure rather than blitzing, which is actually a good sign, right? You don't want to have the opposite discrepancy like we've seen previously last episode. Now, the problem is their secondary. Their secondary was a big component to them giving up more explosives and more touchdowns and more points. 15th in passer rating allowed, just middle of the pack, which is not what we expect from a Ravens defense. That too with Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey and a couple of other players. And 14th in EPA per pass allowed, which is why they went out and they got Jair Alexander, which is why they drafted Malachi Starks, which I'll get into in a little bit. So, like I was mentioning, they got Jair Alexander. They also got Joe Noteboom, a backup left tackle who used to play a lot for the Rams. Chidobe Awuzie, previous Cowboy. They also got him on a one-year deal. They got Tylan Wallace. They also re-signed DeAndre Hopkins on a one-year, $5 million deal. They claimed Deontay Johnson, so they're building some depth in the wide receiving core. Even though they were pretty successful, they exercised Kyle Hamilton's fifth-year option. They also extended Rashad Bateman on a 3-year, $36.75 million deal. They extended Derrick Henry to a 2-year, $30 million deal. And they extended Ronnie Stanley to a 3-year, $60 million contract extension. So they're keeping their key players in play. And they're building some depth for the deficiencies that they faced last year, which is secondary. Right? So they're bringing in Jair Alexander, and I'm going to mention they drafted Malachi Starks. So pretty good. They also released Marcus Williams, who was kind of a liability for them at safety. And we all know what happened to Justin Tucker. Piece of shit that he is.
Mm-hmm.
So they released him, though in a very controversial way. I don't know why they did that. I don't know who gave them the idea to write their press release in a way that they were being forced almost. They were being coerced to release Justin Tucker when you have all the options, man. You're a billionaire. I'm talking to the Ravens ownership group and the front office. You guys are all multi-millionaires and billionaires. You have the option to craft whatever narrative you want. You didn't have to choose the one where you knew people were going to be antagonized by.
Yeah.
Given, in light of all the recent events that had happened with Justin Tucker. So
speaking of Justin Tucker, I don't mean to deviate, but y'all better check NFL memes right now because they took this analogy of like the Chris Martin Coldplay cheating.
Oh
meme.
yeah.
And it said, I'll share this with you because it is freaking hilarious. Like, I think
no.
It's wild, but it is funny as hell.
Yes, please do send.
Oh
no. No. Oh no. Oh no. Man, they just don't miss.
Like, it's like
they don't miss, man. They don't miss. Oh wow.
Keep the massage
I hope
out of the AFC North, please.
Yes.
Keep them away
Please.
from the AFC North.
For your safety, women, please run away. Run away from Baltimore, from Cleveland, from Pittsburgh, and from Cincinnati. Those cities you should not exist in.
But I think Justin Tucker. But I'll say this, one last thing I'll say: Justin Tucker will be a great addition for one of the most emerging NFL teams in the world, the Pyongyang Stars. That is right. Justin Tucker will be a great kicker for the North Korean football team.
You mean the Pyongyang missiles?
No, I was saying the Pyongyang Stars, man, because it's just the one star.
Yeah.
That's like the rate,
Um,
just like the Cowboys.
exactly.
That's it.
Um,
I'll shut up right now. But I will say this: like some of the moves that the Ravens made this offseason, like it's like we've said this for every team. This is basically this is the season. Like your
Mhm.
offseason additions, like especially in the free agency, they have to make it count. Because and I'll say this, all due respect, Lamar Jackson, hell of a talent. And rightfully so, MVP runner-ups, like he was a two-time MVP winner.
Mhm.
But I don't know the talent surrounding him is giving him that opportunity to take that next step.
Either that or, I mean, we'll see if last year was just a fluke or if he continues the same playoff success that he had this year.
If Mark Andrews catches that ball at the end zone,
We have a different conversation.
it's a different conversation.
It's a different conversation. All right, let's look at what they did in the draft. They had a lot of picks, as you know, the Ravens are accustomed to. They had a lot of good selections. Malachi Starks dropping to number 27.
About that pick, I hated it.
Mike Green dropping to the second round.
Steal.
Emory Jones, backup tackle that they can develop in the third round when Ronnie Stanley leaves. A couple of depth players like Bilal Cohn in corner. They drafted a new kicker in Tyler Loop because they knew about Justin Tucker. Otherwise, why would they draft another place kicker? Also, Justin Tucker did not perform well this year, so we do have that. But we all know they knew. We all know they knew. Yeah, and a couple of other depth pieces. But yeah, the first two players, Malachi Starks and Mike Green, I think are going to be incredibly important for a pass rush resurgence for the Ravens. When you look at their depth chart now, in terms of their pass rush, where are the Ravens? Right. So you look at who they have in terms of the interior defensive line, which was already really good. They had Nnamdi Madubuike, Justin Madubuike, Travis Jones, their nose tackle, Broderick Washington. A very stacked interior defensive line, probably top 3 in the league. You got Kyle Van Noy, Roquan Smith, Odafe Owe, and now Mike Green coming in as your main pass rushers. David Ojabo somewhere there as a
Unless he's
backup
healthy.
pass rusher potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the issue with Ojabo was his health concerns. That's why he
Right.
dropped in the second round.
Right. But yeah, you still got a fantastic front four in terms of rushing. Then you look at the revamped secondary. You got Nate Wiggins as your secondary corner, outside corner. You got Jair Alexander, who's now your main corner. Still hurts very much. Thought we could have rectified this, but not really. Marlon Humphrey, their who ESPN is listing as nickel. We'll see if the players get rotated because Jair also plays in the nickel sometimes. You sometimes can bring Malachi Starks in the nickel position. How many times are they actually going to play with 5 DBs? We'll see. Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks now. Cheeto Awuzie as a backup. TJ Tampa also has a backup pretty good. So they have revamped and restocked their defense. They've brought in some depth in wide receiver at the wide receiver position. So we'll see. On paper, they look to repeat the same way next year. They look to repeat the same way. 14-3, make the playoffs, but literally the script is entirely written up to them in terms of how to improve the performance. They could either go to the Super Bowl because they are that talented, if they can just have the right mentality, or they could fizzle out as they usually do at the divisional round. Now, I forgot to mention they did bring in a secondary coach, and you guys might have heard of this guy, Chuck Pagano. Good old Chuck Pagano is now the secondary coach for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Bro, don't make us old. Chuck Pagano is still young.
I'm the one who's old. So I can see this, not you.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah,
child. John is like, what the hell did I get myself into?
I'm just keeping quiet here.
he's just enjoying the show.
No, basically it's like Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Exactly, man. Exactly. But rest assured, your time is coming, John. Your time is coming.
We're getting paid?
What?
We're getting paid for this?
I told you to keep it down. We didn't have a collective bargain. They don't have a union yet.
Oh my God. We don't have revenue. What are you talking about getting paid? I can give you Monopoly money. We have that.
We talked about it before we started recording. We're sponsored by Duolingo, right?
Oh, yes. Sponsored by Duolingo. Air quotes, everybody. Just to wrap up this Raven segment, because I think we've been talking for like 25 minutes. Isaiah Likely, I think, is going to be my Shandar Player of the Year. Someone who has shown out before for the Ravens, and someone I think who's going to earn the nod for being the main passing threat for Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to replace Mark Andrews. I think we saw last year with Mark Andrews reliability concerns. He's getting up in age, and Isaiah Likely is right there to replace him. Now, they do run more like two tight end personnel, so it's not like Mark Andrews will not be on the field, because he's still a very important piece to this Ravens offense. But I think Isaiah Likely is going to firmly take over tight end one roles, because we've seen him do that before. So that's my conclusion for the Ravens. I think regular season, I expect them to, go the same way. I don't really see any major changes in the division, so I think they can take the division. The AFC, we'll see, how some of these teams can improve, like the AFC West. But I think most likely we're just going to have the same guys go into the playoffs. Maybe like one or two teams there who could come in as a wild card. But so the Ravens realistically won't have any competition until the playoffs. And that is the question. What are they going to do? So that's it for me for the Ravens. Now on to John, who's going to talk to us about the Bengals. Take it away.
Give me like 2 seconds. I just got home.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Not a problem. Take your time. But I will say this, like, about the Ravens. Like, I'm very interested to see what they do. Like, the regular season aside, I think they're gonna get like what, top 2, top 3. I'm just, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going straight up beat the dole moment right here. I think the Ravens will face, and I hope to God it works. Please. Beat the dole. Ravens versus Bills in the AFC Championship game.
That's what we hoped last year. That is what we hoped.
I'm going to keep on wishing, damn it. I'm going to keep on wishing for it.
It is a great wish to have.
And I think this can possibly happen, because last time when we talked about the Chiefs and that inability to have that deep threat and a continued like actual set of offense, I think right now teams are still saying like, yes, Mahomes can go God mode, but how long can he keep this up?
Mm-hmm.
And now with the Ravens and the Bills slightly going into it, and we'll talk about the Bills, because we need to bring Cameron in to have him experience the hard truths about the Bills.
Yes.
But I honestly think this Ravens team has that chance to go to the Super Bowl. I honestly believe in my whole heart they have that ability.
They do. They do. They
And
have the ability.
I'll say this: I would not be surprised if they win if Lamar Jackson wins the Super Bowl this year. I would not be surprised.
Wow.
How long though?
How long?
How long have we been saying, "Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if Lamar Jackson wins the Super Bowl"? For the
Yeah.
last, like 4 years.
Yep. Every time he's won an MVP, it's like I wouldn't be surprised if he wins a Super Bowl MVP. Never has happened.
Can we just like try and just wishfully pray for this? But then again,
you just want to be, hopelessly optimistic.
Bro, there's a segment in Your Native Traits to which optimism dies. Let him take over that part. Let us believe, man. Or like John, I think you may understand like this pro wrestling name. In the words of Joe Hendry, say his name and he appears because I believe in Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I think Lamar definitely has the talent. Last year definitely was not his fault, like you guys were saying.
Yeah.
It's just it gets so hard to watch him play so well in the regular season and then just completely crap out in playoffs.
Yeah.
But I am back. So on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, sir. On to
away.
Cincinnati.
Now,
As the great Belichick said.
I am no Bengals expert, but it doesn't take an expert to see Cincinnati needs a lot of help. They need a lot of help. They put on this facade, oh, we have Burrow, Chase, and Higgins, and that's supposed to scare teams. But then you look around the rest of their team, and it's a whole lot of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It really frustrates me that because I do like Joe Burrow, I like Jamar Chase. I would like to see the Bengals do something. It just really frustrates me that you don't go out, you don't get a star running back, you don't go out to help your offensive line.
In a deep running back draft, they only drafted Taj Brooks.
Yes, they waited
from
to the sixth
Texas
round.
Tech, Taj time, baby. Taj.
They had the opportunity to draft R.J. Harvey. They could have drafted Caleb Johnson. They could have drafted Cam Scatterbo.
Omarion Hampton.
They could have, or even
exactly. They could have gone after Omarion Hampton. It's the Bengals front office. I feel like just doesn't know how to run this team successfully. Because even if you don't go after a running back, there was still plenty of corners available at 17. There were still plenty of edge rushers that aren't named Shamar Stewart, which I will get to in a minute.
Please talk about this situation more.
He's gonna talk about that in the draft.
No, like just go on a rant. I will listen to you, and I'll.
Because I was never high on Shamar Stewart in the draft. I thought he was a drama queen. His numbers didn't impress me. He didn't impress me at Texas A&M. And the Bengals aren't really in a position where they can take those risks and draft someone who that he may be a shining star, he may not, but at least we'll know. They don't really have the opportunity to do that. They don't have that room for error. They passed on James Pierce. They passed on Maxwell Harrison. They passed on a lot of good players for a player who is very unproven. And just the fact that he's going back to college makes that statement 100 times more valid. Because he may not even see a snap with the Bengals. He may get drafted next year. There's just a lot of question marks going on with Cincinnati. They did up their their interior defensive line. They went out, they got BJ Hill, re-signed TJ Slayton. The defensive line, it's looking okay. But when you're a defense who was, I believe, 21st in pass rush, or they were 21st in pass defense, 23rd or 25th in rush defense, they were just bad all around the board. And to go after a guy on a position that you don't really need and him being such a question mark, I just don't get what they saw in him. Because again, you look at the list of players that went after him: Gray Zabel, Jahdae Barron, Derek Harmon, Amarian Hampton, Donovan Jackson, James Pierce, Malachi Starks. Any of those guys would have
Even
benefited.
Tyleek Williams.
Even Tyleek Williams.
Tyleek Williams.
Hell, we can even keep going down the list. Josh Connerly, Max Harrison,
Jihad Campbell.
Josh Simmons, even like bleeding into the second round, they could have gotten Carson Schwetzinger, however the hell you pronounce his last name. They would have been fine.
Yeah.
It's really confusing and just, again, frustrating to see what this Cincinnati team is doing with the talent and the potential that they do have with the young core that they have. Because when in 2021, we saw the core and we saw what they could do, even with very minimal assets outside of those three positions. They didn't really, they had Joe Mixon, yes, phenomenal running back. They didn't really have the line, though. That's been an issue for them for years, is their line. And it just feels like their line has gotten worse somehow.
I agree.
They keep dragging their feet on it.
They could have gotten Gray Zabel, fixed that interior offensive line right there. This was a very deep interior offensive line down the board.
Yeah. No, even if they had waited and went offensive line in the second round.
Right.
Because their draft, let's take a look at their draft really quick, because
I actually have it pulled up. Go
ahead and share it. Just go ahead and share it, bro.
Not a problem, my good friends. Not a problem. I'm happy to do that right now. 1 minute. 1 minute, मेरे भाई. Okay, so we want to go into their first round. Yes. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, first round, they went Shamar Stewart, edge, and we know the conundrum on what the hell they're doing. Like, what's going on? And then the second round, they go Demetrius Knight Jr. That I felt was questionable. What are your thoughts on John, are you able to see it?
Yeah, I can see it. See,
okay.
I wouldn't hate the Demetrius Knight pick because they do need linebacker. But it's a tale as old as time. You look at the guys that went after him. Benjamin Morrison, who was slated to go in the first round in some mock drafts.
Nick Scorton,
Anthony Belton, Tate Ratledge,
Olufemi Oladejo, the edge from UCLA.
Mike Green, RJ Harvey,
Trey Amos. Yep. Andrew Makuba, you can even say.
Andrew Makuba. Yeah, it's just
insane.
They're picking decent players. Other than Shamar Stewart, I didn't hate their draft. I think I gave it a C+ when it was all said and done. I didn't hate their draft, but there were better options available that they needed more of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same case with every single round. And the big issue I had with them was, again, waiting until the 6th round to grab a running back when this is a very running back heavy class with some running backs that can do some damage. I think obviously they weren't going to get oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Who was the first one? Ashton Johnson.
Yeah,
they were not going to get him.
They could have gone after Amarian Hampton. They could have. RJ Harvey was another great pick. I think Caleb Johnson's going to do great for Pittsburgh. Cam Scatabo is
Travion Henderson.
Yes. We're not going to talk about Quinshon Judkins.
Yes.
We're just going to leave it at that. But yeah, any of those running backs to fill that hole that is we saw it last year. Chase Brown wasn't a bad running back. but he wasn't what Joe Mixon was, and I feel like that's really what that offense needed to get going. And it just wasn't there. Going to the third round, this was the main pick that I really liked from them was Dylan Fairchild. I was very high on him going into the draft. I had him going mid to late second round. The fact that he dropped so low was insane to me, and I thought this was an absolute steal of a pick by the Bengals. He was he was just a very tough guard at Georgia. He was one of the big reasons they won a national championship with it. He was just, I don't know, he's just big. He's just a big guy.
Yeah.
Fun guy to watch. He can pull. He's fast for an offensive guard. You know, he was just, he's what the Bengals needed. And that's the only thing you can say about, he's the only player you can say that about with this draft. Like, yeah, they could use linebacker. You know, they could have used edge rusher. There were positions that they needed more of. They finally went out and got a guard that I think can do some damage. It's just his ceiling is very high, but his floor is also very low.
Right.
And another problem he had was injuries. He was getting hurt a lot at Georgia. And so if he can stay healthy, Fairchild's going to be a very good guard for them for years to come.
You know, if you don't mind me saying this, I have this mock draft for them based on the way that this draft went that probably would have fixed every single issue they would have faced. Right? When you look at round one, and let me just share my screen here.
Go ahead, do your thing.
Because I have the full draft right here. All the draft picks.
By all means, take over, buddy.
So they got Shamar Stewart at 17. They could have drafted Gray Zabel. So let's say they draft Gray Zabel at 17. Who else would they have in the second round? Well, it turns out if you wanted a D tackle in the second round, look at all of the options that you have at D tackle that are available. There's one guy who's a steal in the third round, and that is Darius Alexander. Darius Alexander went to pick 65, and he would have been a perfect fit for them in the second round. So
and he goes to the Giants, right?
And he goes to the Giants, and that defensive line is ferocious.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
So you look at first round, Gray Zabel. Second round, Darius Alexander. And now what can you do in your third round, right? Third round, you can still go Dylan Fairchild, but Caleb Johnson is picked just 2 spots out. You can look at Wyatt Milam, who I think is a better offensive guard than Dylan Fairchild because he has a higher floor. So Caleb Rogers going to the Raiders. So you could choose any of those offensive linemen and still be a home run pick. So your 3 picks could be, well, actually, you wouldn't even need it because Gray Zabel would have been your first round pick. So at that point, you would have Gray Zabel first round. Then you actually, wait. I have a better pick.
Oh, okay.
Jahdae Barron first round. I mean, he solves like half of their defensive woes in the secondary. He's just your shut down corner right there. So you get Jahdae Barron in the first round. You then get Darius Alexander in the second round. Then you get you either stick with Dylan Fairchild or you go with Wyatt Milam. I think Wyatt Milam is a better pick here in the third round. And then in the fourth round, guess who is still available here?
Who?
You can get, where is he? I think, did he go in the 5th round? I think RJ Harvey is still there.
They had him. They wanted a proper running back. RJ Harvey would have been right there.
Where did RJ Harvey go? Did he go in the 5th round?
He went to the Broncos, and from what I remember, I thought I saw Harvey go into 1 second. I'm pulling up my Broncos notes on this one. as we were
Where
saying,
did he go in the third round?
I saw RJ Harvey taken in the second round, pick number 60.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
went.
he went high.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
It could have been so then again, it's like, would it be? I think it wouldn't be a reach, or is it a reach? I don't know.
We'll see. And even if they turn around and
Yeah.
got Gray Zabel in the first, they could have went
Mhm.
in the third. They could have traded back and looked at a guy like Xavier Watts, who is a lockdown safety, and that is
Yeah.
a position that they need to complement Jordan Battle. I think Jordan Battle's a solid safety. He's not anything special, but I think if you pair him with Xavier Watts, that's a dangerous combo.
Yeah. After letting go of Jesse Bates.
Exactly.
Yep. Oh, do you want me to bring up the draft picks again?
Do you want to talk more about the draft picks?
There's only really one other draft pick that I want to talk about, and it's the one I've been kind of shitting on this entire time, and that's Taj Brooks. I didn't like that they waited to get a running back. I do like the running back they got, though. I've been talking a lot of bad about them waiting to get a running back, but for the time or for the round that they got a steal with him in the 6th round, because I was projecting him to go late 4th, early 5th.
Yep.
He's a fast running back. He's a strong running back.
I would know.
His ability to move, his ability to find a hole when there's no hole there is something special, and it's something that a lot of NFL running backs need to learn. And the fact that he possesses that skill already makes him light years ahead of a lot of these prospects. Right. Do I think he's better than a lot of these prospects? No, but in that aspect, he is very much ahead of them.
And
so he could be a compliment to Chase Brown, basically.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
and
I can definitely see him being an RB2 by the end of the season.
I was just about to say that. And like just watching Taj Brooks, of course, me being super biased because he went to my school, Texas Tech, Reckon Tech. And it's watching him in 4 years, especially in an offense that was geared towards the air raid, now switching to more of a balanced type, like especially with running the ball, when like especially in motion plays, Taj Brooks is terrifying. Like you better get that one tackle because he is great with yards after contact. I don't know how it was, and as a fact, he led the Big 12 in rushing yards. I think he had like back-to-back thousand rushing yards, and I think it was like top in the FBS for rushing attempts and rushing yards as well. So I think it was definitely a good season for him. Definitely, and I think like with the Bengals, he will provide, and he's also not a bad pass catcher as well. When I saw like Baron Morton, like when Joey McGuire, Texas Tech's like head coach, when they tried bringing him in motion and he was used as a pass catcher, he's actually not too bad. But then again, having the Chase Brown and Taj Brooks combination really works. But I do agree with John. I think there were better options that the Bengals could have targeted, but getting someone like in the 6th round could be a steal.
And we've seen a lot of. Sorry, go ahead.
No, getting a running back this late, not very ideal, but a steal like Taj Brooks, it's not bad. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of good running backs go late. My biggest example is Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is absolutely lighting it up with Minnesota. He lit it up for Green Bay, and he fell all the way to the 5th round. And while I do think that the Bengals needed running back, and it was kind of a desperate need for them, they went after what they needed the most, or what they felt like they needed the most in the first 2 rounds. I'm not really too keen on their picks, but they focused on getting offensive linemen to protect Joe Burrow, which was the biggest issue in these last few years, was his health. And getting guys to protect him was their number one priority. They got it in Fairchild. I don't know why they waited so long to get an offensive lineman, but the fact that they got one as good as he is that low is, I don't know. It's very important for them.
But like, I'm also concerned about some of their other players, right? Okay, Amarius Mims, he can, he showed promise as a rookie last year in the right tackle position. He still has to improve and be more consistent. Then you look at their center, Ted Karras. I'm not really hyped up on Ted Karras. You know where he was last year or previously? He was with the Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been with the Bengals for the past 3 seasons, but I thought that they could have improved him a little bit, improved from him a little bit by, getting Gray's Able. Gray's Able has guard and center flexibility, which is, I think, what the Seahawks are now going to do. So they could have replaced Ted Karras with him. They did let go of Alex Kappa, one of their better
to the Raiders
offensive linemen, to the Raiders. You look at Orlando Brown. He's also getting up there in age. He's had a couple of injuries that we have to worry about now. So it's like they technically have the pieces on paper, but they have not gelled together.
And part of that is the play calling. I saw a lot of plays where they're trying to run screen passes on deep third downs. They're trying to force the ball upfield in desperation attempts, and it's just not working. And that's not what they were doing when they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they're getting the short routes, and they're getting the short routes, and they're punching the ball 2-3 yards upfield at a time, and then taking their shots when they're available. Whereas now it's just they're trying too hard to take those deep down the field shots, those home run balls, and it's just not working. That's why they struggled so much last year. Looking at their free agent additions, the big one that I'm looking at is Mike Gesicki. While he is getting up there in age, I do think he still is a very good tight end talent, and he's a very good red zone threat. I think he's still got the hands. He's still a good route runner. He could still block when needed. And even guys like Oren Burks, I think can really help that linebacker core. The big issue I have is releasing Jermaine Pratt.
That was questionable.
What?
That was very questionable. I did not get that move.
I don't get the move. And then getting rid of Trent Brown, it's like, okay. I mean, he was decent for them, but he wasn't too great. But then again, when you're on a team that's so desperate for O-line, you need to take anything that's above mediocre. They also re-signed T. Higgins, which was a big deal. They re-signed B.J. Hill, which I think, again, B.J. Hill was a very good defensive tackle. He was able to get in, pressure the quarterback. And even if he didn't pressure the quarterback, he was getting the double coverage double coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And letting the other guy shine and get in there. There's just a lot of re-signings that I wasn't a huge fan of. And even signing Lucas Patrick to a 1-year deal, I'm kind of biased on that because I never really liked him on Green Bay.
He wasn't that great. He was not that great on Green Bay.
He was a lackluster guard that we took a shot on, and it didn't work out. I don't see what the Bengals see in him, but if they see something that we didn't and they're able to use him in a way that we weren't able to, by all means, go ahead. I think re-signing Samaje Perine to a 2-year deal was also a little questionable.
Especially when you get Taj Brooks. Aren't you trying to, weed out some older talent and bring in some depth, young depth?
They already have Zach Moss and Chase Brown.
Right.
So, why go after an older running back? I don't get it. Re-signing Cam Sample, I think, was a big deal. I think he definitely is one of their better players. But yeah, the big issue with me there's two. One of them's not really their fault, but the two big issues with me is releasing Jermaine Pratt and then Sam Hubbard retiring. Losing a veteran presence like him on the defensive line is something that this Bengals team can't really afford right now. And he's definitely one of the better defensive ends within the last 10 years, I would say. I really do like Sam Hubbard, or I did like Sam Hubbard. And yeah, again, just losing that veteran presence does not help them in any way.
And one more question, John. Trey Hendrickson. They still do not have a deal signed for Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing with me is I don't get why you're prioritizing re-signing T. Higgins over an all-pro talent like Trey Hendrickson when you have Jamar Chase, you have Andre Yoshivas, who is a serviceable wide receiver, and you also have Jermaine Burton, who still hasn't really had a chance to shine in that offense.
Mm-hmm.
You could have gotten a good deal. You could have gotten a few draft picks, maybe a good player out of T. Higgins if you had traded him, or if you had signed and traded him. But you didn't, and you signed him to a big deal, and then you don't want to sign your all-pro defensive end. It just doesn't make sense to me. Nothing's really adding up there. And while he is kind of getting older, he's still an amazing talent. That
you also now have two of the highest paid non-quarterback NFL players in history who are now re-signed in TJ Watt and Myles Garrett. And I bet you $100 that Trey Hendrickson is looking at those deals and is saying, hey, why can't I get that sort of deal? Even if he doesn't get that deal, Micah Parsons is also looking for that sort of deal too. Trey Hendrickson is going to, presumably ask for a similar caliber of deal.
I think he may ask for more, but I just got breaking Demakadar news from Adam Schefter himself right now. And this is according to the NFL Players Association Executive Director Lloyd Howell announced his resignation.
Damn.
No.
He just announced it. He brought his resignation to the committee, the NFLPA Executive Committee this evening, per sources. He was not asked to do this, but he just did it on his own. He served a mere 749 days as the director. He was elected in June 28, 2023, announced his resignation today on July 17th. And apparently he says, and I quote, "I believe this deeply in the mission of this union, the power of collective action to drive this change. My priority has been to learn that fight, blah, blah, blah. It is clear that my leadership has become a distraction to the important work the NFLPA advances every day. For this reason, I have informed the NFLPA Executive Committee that I am stepping down as the Executive Director of NFLPA and Chairman of the Board of NFL Players effective immediately." And I don't know what to say. That's all. Wow. I think, like, executive wise, this is pretty big. Like, damn. But I didn't mean to interrupt. But this was news. This was the Makadar news that I wanted to bring up.
I just have one question.
Okay.
Was he in the files?
Oh my god!
I'm kidding, obviously.
What?
I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
We went in full hour.
Oh.
Yeah,
he's right up there with Jerry Jones.
Exactly.
It's really funny on the threads comment where someone said he's on the file. He's on the list. I'm like, oh my god! If Ananthor John says that, I'm gonna be dead. I'm like, y'all did it. Okay.
But I think I've trashed the Bengals for long enough. There's just to sum it all up. I don't see them doing very well next year with all the question marks, all the questionable play calling, the fact that the front office doesn't seem to know what they're doing. I think they would be lucky to get even 6 wins next year, even with them being healthy. I don't see this team being that talented. They lost a lot of good players, re-signed a lot of players that are just okay. I don't see it with the Bengals. As much as I want them to do well, I think they'd be lucky to get 6 wins next year.
Really?
Yeah.
What? 6 wins?
Wow. I mean, they have a lot of easy opponents. You look at Cleveland, Jacksonville, Minnesota. You could put Pittsburgh in there, New York, Chicago, New England.
Well, see, that's the thing is,
Miami.
I think a lot of those teams are primed to be better and take a jump than they were last year. Primarily Jacksonville. I mean, they still got Denver. They still got Detroit, Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think the Jets can make a jump if Justin Fields plays to his full potential. The Bears are another team that are primed to make a big jump, as much as I hate to say that. Under Ben Johnson, I think they will be a good team next year.
I'll see it when I see it, honestly. But yeah, go ahead.
And then their final, they got a 4-game stretch where they got to play the Patriots, who I think are an underdog team, the Ravens, Bills, then they got to go and play the Ravens again. It's going to be interesting. I think they're going to lose a lot of close games. And that's just because of their defense. Their secondary is not up to par with some of these receiving cores.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm going to stick by it. I think they'd be lucky to get 6, maybe 7 wins next year.
Wow. I feel a similar way to the next team that we have coming up. So I'll talk about them.
Oh man, bring it up, bro. Bring up the miracle. Bring up the enigma that is Stellar football.
Yes. And before I get to that,
insert voice.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not even gonna try. But before we do that, I just want to ask, if you had to pick a player on the Bengals team, John, that is going to shine, who would it be? That's your Shandar Player of the Year.
Honestly, if I had to pick one, see, it's tough because I don't think it'll be Jamar. Because my problem with him is he's had so many consecutive good seasons to where he's bound to fall off. He's bound to get hurt. He's bound to have that big injury. T. Higgins has had hamstring injuries pretty much his entire career. I'm gonna do kind of a weird one. I'm gonna say Taj Brooks.
Oh,
I'm gonna say Taj Brooks. I think he can take over that backfield. I definitely think he's better than Zach Moss, and they love running two back. They love running 2-back systems, and I think that's really where he's gonna have his chance to shine and really take over. See if he can take over for Chase Brown. I got Taj Brooks.
Okay.
Yep.
I was going to say Trey Hendrickson because he's going to be traded or he's going to sign a contract here and he wants to show out for whatever team signs him. But yeah, I like some rookie love, you know?
See, I was thinking Trey Hendrickson. If it's not Taj, it's going to be him. But I think I spent a lot of the time just like completely destroying the fact that they waited until the 6th round to get a running back when I do like the running back that they got.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for that lengthy analysis, John. We do appreciate that.
We needed this.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Oh
no, it's good. It's good.
It's great.
This is exactly what we wanted, you know?
My girlfriend just laughed at me, so
hey, no, like to John's girlfriend, you're the real, like she's.
You're a real one. You're a real one.
No. If you like, you're the real MVP.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I will say this, like, for me being biased, hold on. You know what time it is?
It's Taj
time.
time.
And the thing is, like, even like if the only successful thing for the Bengals is Taj Brooks, I'm always going to root for my Red Raiders, except for Pat Mahomes because he's boring the hell out of me right now.
We'll see.
All
right. Let's move on to Steeler Nation.
Steeler football.
Steeler football. There's
Play that Pittsburgh polka.
Oh, you know the Pittsburgh polka? It's called Death, Taxes, and Steelers going 9-8. That is Steeler polka going 9-8. Being the three most consistent things in American history: death, taxes, and Steelers going 9-8. They still believe they're gonna do the same thing over and over and over again. They are literally insane.
Hey, but this time they're doing it with Aaron Rodgers.
Bro, I don't even know. I'm a hardcore Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm one of his biggest fans. I don't even know if that's going to work. They don't have the offensive line. They barely have the weapons. I mean, DK Metcalf is there. George Pickens is there.
No,
Caleb
Pickens
Johnson.
is on the Cowboys.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. No, never mind. You don't have Pickens now.
Jalen Warren.
Yes, Jalen Warren.
The ghost that is Jalen Warren. Alex John from the top rope.
Bro, I mean, they tried it with Ben. It didn't work. They tried it with Russ. It didn't work.
What's up, Steelers country?
No.
Right
No.
Here. You know, I feel sorry for my Steelers country, but always keep on welding. We'll just try and go 9-8 one more time. Steelers country, let's weld. And of course, hello to my Giants nation right there. And New Jersey, New York represent.
Oh my God,
Oh God, I'm sorry, man. The ghost of Russell Wilson.
He just had to. Honestly, like, I mean, we've been like a lot of fans have been saying it for the past couple of years. They need a wholesale destruction of the entire team.
They need a tank.
No, not just that. I'm talking about a Commanders-like refresh. New organization, new ownership, new front office, new coaching staff, new players.
Okay.
Because that organization, the president of football operations or whoever handles
Omar
the marketing
Khan
side,
is still running that place.
right? But whoever does the business aspect of running the franchise decided in their infinite wisdom to get rid of Heinz as
Ward.
No,
Oh.
dude, the sponsorship.
Oh, Heinz
ketchup sponsorship. And name it after Acrisure? What? Why? Heinz Field. That is as Pittsburgh German-esque vibe you can get. Heinz Field. That has been etched in memory for millions and millions of football fans. And you have the gall, the audacity to change it to Acrisure Stadium? What sort of rebranding is this from a sponsorship side?
And can I say something in Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Was zum Teufel? Was zum Teufel?
What does that mean?
What the hell?
There you go.
I have to literally Google Translate that.
But like that's why it needs to be a wholesale destruction of the entire franchise, right? You get rid of the organization. They failed miserably. They are so stuck in nostalgia. They're like boomers who are pining for an age that is long gone. Wake up. It's the 21st century. The world doesn't run like it's 1970 anymore. This goes out to boomers, by the way. It doesn't run like 1970 anymore. It's the 21st century. It's 2025. Start passing the football. We need a dynamic QB and an explosive passing offense. Man, I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers at 42, coming off of a year after he had an Achilles surgery. This is not it. You look at their offense last year, it was very much Steelers-esque. 19th overall, 18th pass, 19th rush. So literally, you were, in the bottom quartile, almost bottom third of the entire league in both rushing and passing the football. Your offensive line sucked from a rushing standpoint, but your running backs were even worse. 24th in the league in terms of running back yards gained on average, which led to terrible rushing stats, which then coincidentally led to painful passing because they lacked a balanced attack, even though they had George Pickens. But how much can you feed a diva, a.k.a. Antonio Brown, a.k.a. Chase Claypool, a.k.a. Juju Smith-Schuster? I mean, the diva wide receiver factory just keeps chugging and chugging. Deontay Johnson. You just can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. They are literally the definition of insanity. Actually, you know what? I'm going to bring up the definition of insanity right now. The state of being seriously ill. Wait, hold up. Okay, Albert Einstein, one of the greatest scientists of all time. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. They are the manifestation of this quote.
Can I say this?
What?
John and Anand, we're discussing the definition of insanity of the Pittsburgh Steelers before GTA 6.
Yes. Yes. Man,
Oh.
You
I
good?
feel like we've been yeah, I'm good. I feel like we've been bringing up the definition of insanity with this team for a long time.
Yeah.
Probably ever since Ben left.
even in the last couple of years of Ben. I mean, when you look at that playoff game with Baker Mayfield and the Browns, they scored like 28 points in the first 4 drives in like the first 15 minutes. Like that was the death of the Pittsburgh Steelers as a franchise. Because ever since then, they've just been limping. They've tried to band-aid these issues by focusing on a defense, right? Focusing on getting a good defense. But what happens inevitably, their offense cannot match. Their quarterback sucks. You look at last year, Russ was abysmal. Yeah, he was, I think, like sixth in terms of completion percentage over expected. But what is the point? Is that okay? Is everything okay back there?
Oh yeah, everything's good. Sorry, I forgot to mute.
No worries. But like, this is open to both of you guys. Like, what is the point of having a high completion percentage offense if you suck at scoring points? 21st in EPA per dropback for Russ as a quarterback, but and more importantly, 27th in EPA per dropback in sacks, which means he took on so many sacks by himself. And when he was under pressure, when he was taking sacks, the amount of points lost was insane. The explosive potential of that team was gone because of Russ, because the quarterback couldn't function, because the interior offensive line was not functioning well, and because the scheme was completely arcane in the 1990s, or not even 1990s, because at least they threw the football in the 1990s. These guys are the freaking 40s. Where throwing the football was considered as sacrilegious as punting was a better form than throwing the football. Like, that is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And as usual, their defense was pretty good. 8th overall DVOA, 7th versus pass, 13th versus against the run. And they had a fantastic interior defensive line against the run, but their pass rush without TJ Watt, surprisingly, was not that high. Only 24th in adjusted sack rate, 17th in pressure rate, and 12th in blitz rate, which means even though they blitzed more than the average NFL team, they still couldn't get better than average pressure percentage and could not generate a lot of sacks, even with Alexander Highsmith, even with TJ Watt. So it made sense that in terms of the free agency that they had, they tried to beef up the defense a little bit. You look at their draft, you look at you look at their draft. Their first pick was Derek Harmon. I think that was an excellent pick. But yeah, you also look at Jack Sawyer, who they picked up in the 4th round. Yaya Black in the 5th round.
Jack Sawyer, you know what? Beat the doll right here. Jack Sawyer's ability, I think he's going to take over TJ Watt's spot once Watt retires.
Damn, that's high praise for a 4th round pick.
No, like watching Sawyer's tape in that Ohio State defense, do not sleep on Sawyer. He is good.
Okay. So yeah, I mean they beefed up some of that pass rushing depth. But they did lose out on a couple. They did release Montrevious Adams from the Packers. They released Larry Ogunjobi. They released Preston Smith, DB1 from the Packers. And they made some of the most questionable, like, I don't get this team. They make good draft selections in their defensive line and in their in their linebacking core. When you look at their depth chart, it's actually pretty stacked. When you have Keanu Benton, Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Derek Harmon as your starting, 4, I guess, if you go to a 4-3, or if you look at what ESPN says that they run a base 3-4 defense. I don't know how accurate that is, but let's just assume that they stay with that. Then you have like 7 great pass rushers, 4 on the edge, 3 up the middle. You have Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson from last year as well, who's coming in. So their front 7 is actually pretty stacked. They've brought in some depth. Cole Holcomb, Nick Herbig had a pretty decent season last year. They still have Dean Lowry. You remember that name, John? Dean Lowry.
Oh yeah,
right.
He was solid for the Packers. I mean, he was okay.
Yeah. They bring in Darius Slay. They bring in Deshaun Elliott.
And
but then I mean they bring in Juan Thornhill, but they release or they trade out Minkah Fitzpatrick for Jalen Ramsey
and Jonnu Smith.
I mean, why would you trade for Jonnu Smith when you literally have 2 of the best young tight ends in the league right now? When you have Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington, why do you need Jonnu Smith?
God, I keep forgetting he's in Pittsburgh. Darnell Washington.
Yeah. Apparently, there are rumors that he's on the trade block.
I would not be surprised.
I mean, it makes sense considering they just got Jonnu, who is a good target, but like you said, they already have 2 really good young tight ends.
I would rather develop them instead of, paying money for Jonnu Smith. Apparently, the rumor, what some reporters were saying from inside Pittsburgh is that because Arthur Smith really liked Jonnu Smith, they got him. But like that's the dumbest excuse for getting a single player. Like the hallmark of a great coordinator or play caller or schemer, both on the offense or the defensive side, is to utilize the talent that you have to the best of your ability, basically by utilizing the ingredients that you have to create the best recipe for success, not wanting, like, not demanding that you have your guys. When you look at all the great offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, play callers, they work and they develop what they have first before they start demanding for like star players. Obviously, retaining star players is important, but Jonnu Smith is not a star player. He is like tight end 3 at best now. I just don't understand these moves. You get rid of George Pickens, but you trade for DK Metcalf, from Seattle, in which you trade for a second-round pick, which was very valuable. In my opinion, you could have gotten a much better receiver than DK Metcalf for the value of that second-round pick. You know who was available at number 52 that they really could have used?
Who?
Let's take a look. Let's take a look. With that second-round pick, where are the rounds? Yeah. At pick 52, Benjamin Morrison was still available. Could have been good. Trey Harris was still available. Jack Beck was still available. Mike Green was still available. RJ Harvey was still available. Trey Amos was still available. Andrew Makuba, Darius Alexander, not saying that they need another defensive lineman. They don't. Harold Fannin Jr., if they wanted to go for tackle, or tight end, which they really don't need to. Azariah Thomas in the third. Like, there were so many players that they really could have drafted with that second-round pick who probably would have been more bang for your buck. They could have traded up to, number 34 to get Jaden Higgins. They could have made a lot of moves that would have secured the future of the franchise without... Like, I don't get the vision. That's the problem. I don't get the vision for this team. You retain Mike Tomlin. You retain Arthur Smith for some reason. You did not have a successful offensive scheme last year. I mean, it was painful to watch. What is the vision for the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Is it Will Howard? Is he the guy? Because they did draft him. I mean, are you seriously considering that Aaron Rodgers stays? I mean, he himself has said that this is going to be his last year. He has signed a 1-year deal worth $14 million. So you're saying that this team that has so many aging players who are well out of their prime. I mean, I don't want to call DK Metcalf aging. He is still 27. But when you look at last year on the Seahawks, 66 receptions, barely not even 1,000 yards, tied 50th in terms of touchdowns that he's gotten. 5 touchdowns, 15 yards on average. It's not a wide receiver that you trade out of. When you have George Pickens, there's no need to get DK Metcalf. You could have paired George Pickens with another young wide receiver from this draft. Heck, even when you had in the first round, when they selected Derek Harmon, Matthew Golden was still on the block. Thank God you didn't draft Matthew Golden. Thank God you were dumb enough to let him go. You could have moved up to get Emeka Egbuka. don't understand the vision for this team. I don't see the vision for this team. They're making a lot of 1-year, 2-year deals, which basically means they're pushing for the Super Bowl. And if they don't get the Super Bowl this year, what are they going to do next year? Presumably, next year, let's see if they're trying to get a quarterback. If the Giants could not trade out of the 6th overall pick this year, what the hell are they going to offer next year when they're in like the mid to late 20s? If all goes well and they have an actual competitive team this year, if everybody stays healthy, everybody performs to expectations, and they have a successful competitive team, most likely they're either in the mid to late 20s, maybe 30, maybe 32. I don't know. That's very small likelihood. But after this year, I don't see the vision. And Omar Khan has been extended for 3 years to 2028. So the question now goes, as I've been saying for the past 10 minutes, I guess, I'm going to wrap this up a little bit. What is the vision? You have young players that you should look to develop, right? Your rookie in Caleb Johnson. You have your young tight ends. You got rid of a young, promising but diva wide receiver. I mean, we know Mike Tomlin can handle diva wide receivers. Like, I mean, I'm not alone here, right?
You're
just
not
don't
alone.
see the vision here.
Going back to what you said about Will Howard, I'm actually very high on him with Pittsburgh. I think he's definitely one of those players that very well could deliver for them. You know, he's got the arm talent. And if they get a weapon, if for some reason Aaron Rodgers goes down, I think they'd be fine with Will Howard for now. But they really do need to see something great out of him to make that pick worthwhile and to justify not going after a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah. Or even in the second round.
Yeah.
Like Jackson Dart, I guess, was still available in the first round, and the Giants went up and got him.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think with this team, honestly, on paper, they look like a contender. You have Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame talent, Hall of Famer, proven Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, multiple MVPs, one of the best, greatest quarterbacks ever. One of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Definitely one of the best quarterbacks of this century. But he is on the opposite side of 40, right? He's 42, I think. 41. He's 41. He's 41. You do have young running backs, but you also did sign Kenneth Gainwell and Trey Sermon. Okay, it's fine. When you have Jalen Warren and Caleb Johnson, I don't know how many touches these guys are going to get. Your wide receivers are not good. Besides DK Metcalf, you have absolutely nobody. Calvin Austin is your second option, or Roman Wilson if you're going to go that route, but he's not even that great. You have an old Robert Woods, 33-year-old Robert Woods as your third option. I mean, who the hell is Aaron Rodgers throwing to besides DK? Like, all it takes is a passable defense to shut down DK Metcalf, and there are some really good corners who can do that. Shut down DK Metcalf, or put two guys on DK Metcalf, get your free safety, get a corner on DK Metcalf. Then who else does Aaron Rodgers target with a okay offensive line? So he may get like 3 seconds, maybe 4. You just target Pat Freiermuth and maybe the running backs coming out from the backfield. It's the same situation that the Jets were in last year, except the Steelers have good tight ends and the Jets had the better receivers. But even then, last year, Aaron Rodgers was not a playoff-worthy quarterback. He was a good quarterback, but not a playoff-worthy quarterback. And then this defense, which we all think is going to be good, still showed cracks last year. And the schedule that these guys are facing, the Steelers are facing, let's look at some of the tough teams that they're going to have to face. Seattle is going to be pretty dicey.
Mm-hmm.
You have to face Cincinnati. That's going to be dicey. You have to face Baltimore twice. You have to face Detroit. You have to face Green Bay, the Chargers, Buffalo. So there are some teams. I think New England is on the rise. Cleveland could go either way. Indianapolis, it's going to be a win. But when you look at some of the teams, when you look at a lot of teams that they have to face, I don't really give that much hope to the Steelers. I'm going to conclude I don't really see a lot of hope. I think everything is going to go kaput. I think they go 5-12. I don't really see, and I hate saying this as an Aaron Rodgers fan. I think he should have retired after the Packers. He should not have gone to the Jets. I think that was just his ego talking. I think everybody tries to be Tom Brady, but not everybody can be Tom Brady. He was the lone exception. And even Father Time got Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
He did get one ring out of it, but at the end, Father Time wins all. Unbeaten record. So it sucks to see Aaron Rodgers' legacy end like this, not with a bang, but with a whimper.
Well, see, as Packers fans, you should know as well as I do.
Yeah.
You're sounding like every single season after Nelson and Cobb left, where, he doesn't have the receivers. He's got Lazard, he's got MVS. He doesn't have the receivers to throw to, and he still found a way to get it done. Now, granted, he is, like you said, he is on the other side of 40. I think 5-12 is a little harsh. I don't think they're going to be like a playoff team, but I do think he'll find a way to get it done. Calvin Austin's a decent target. Roman Wilson, we haven't seen too much from. But Rodgers has made unknowns into superstars. He did it with Devontae Adams. So who knows?
I don't know, man. Your level of I wish I had your level of optimism. I mean,
It's probably going to be more of to which optimism dies, in the words of your nature. Because I think, I don't know, man. It doesn't look that bright for the Steelers. That's all I could say.
like Aaron Rodgers last year, when you look at completion percentage over expected, 32nd out of 34. Mac Jones. Is that Michael Jones? Yeah. Will Levis had a higher completion percentage than Aaron Rodgers. Will Levis did.
Wow, I did not know that.
Woo!
That's bad. Okay, yeah, that's really bad.
Like, Aaron Rodgers had Garrett Wilson, and I actually defended Aaron Rodgers last year. At the end of the season, I was like, you know what? This is not a bad season. 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, nearly 4,000 yards passing. Not that bad. But he is 41. He does not have the same receivers as he did with the Jets. And even with Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, it was not a great offense last year. We're going to get to this in our AFC East breakdown. but I just wanted to show the explosiveness for the Jets last year in terms of the passing game. And the Jets, I believe, have they do have a worse offensive line than the Steelers. I do have to give credit to the Steelers. They have a okay offensive line, but that interior is what I'm worried about. And when you're Aaron Rodgers and you're 41 years old, you're off an Achilles injury. You don't have the same mobility that you had when you were 35. I just don't think that this offense has the legs to sustain the deficiencies that we see in Aaron Rodgers' age and lack of mobility. I just don't think he has everything set up for him. It's not the 2021 Bucks where Gronk can come in and he's like the fifth best receiver. Gronk is like the fifth best receiver on that team, and Tom Brady just has to sit back, execute at a high level. Aaron Rodgers has to take this team on his shoulders. That's the unfortunate part. If he had prime DK Metcalf, if he had George Pickens as well, and if he had a better offensive line, then I would say that, okay, he's got the support staff. If he had a different offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith is not a modern offensive coordinator. He will not create a scheme that will generate enough positive momentum to break away from the old Steelers. That is my big thing. Like, on paper, they made some good moves, but they've stuck with some nostalgic pieces like Arthur Smith of a bygone era. And when you look at the competition that they have to face, they're going to have to face the Bengals offense. They're going to have to face the Ravens. They're going to have to face Baltimore. And eventually, if they somehow get to the playoffs, the Texans, the Broncos, the Chargers, maybe even the Raiders. Who knows if Pete Carroll can turn that team around with Geno Smith? I mean, we don't think so, but maybe the Raiders go like 10-7. That's like 7 teams right there that they have to contend with. And I just don't think they're like at that level. But we'll see. It's all on paper. The only thing that we can say is on paper, they've made some moves, some questionable moves, a lot of controversial moves. So we'll see. And my Shandar Player of the Year, Caleb Johnson. I think he has Rookie of the Year potential, and he's going to be the main offensive engine. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to rely on him and Pat Freiermuth a lot, and potentially DK Metcalf if he gets enough time from his offensive line.
If
being the major operative word here. Sorry if I sound like a very big downer and a very cynical person, but I've just seen too many examples of veteran quarterbacks being well past their limit, trying to think that they're still the same person they were 3-4 years ago. That's the thing.
And you could do all those darkness trees. You can get into ayahuasca, but it ain't going to do jack shit. There's a common phrase: Father Time is undefeated. Aaron Rodgers, my boy, you're about to find out the hard way, unfortunately.
All right. Rakshak, let's finish.
Finally, now, last but not least, I think I could literally, no, because I heard all of this stuff. I'm like, okay, at least you have something to actually talk about, but it's more like, but wait, Anand, I'm getting a notification. I believe we have a new opening in Cleveland. I believe. Oh, wait. Breaking news, which has already been old as shit. Welcome back to the factory of sadness. That is the Cleveland Browns. Like, if I want to summarize this, I think I would need to I think my own mental health would get affected if I talked more about the Cleveland Browns. That's how bad this season is. Like, you know what? 3 things I can mention about the seasons: 3-14 via injuries, the bubonic plague known as Deshaun Watson, and pardon my French, everyone. What the fuck's an offense? Like, what is an offense? John, do you know what an offense is? Do you know what an offense is? I don't know.
I'm a Cleveland Brown fan. No.
Like, it was inconsistent. Like, I'm surprised that Andrew Berry and Karen Stefanski still have jobs. I'm very shocked. And I still put blame on that Haslam's for gross negligence. Like, it is a crime for to see this debauchery. And the only thing that was good was seeing, like, oh, Jerry Jeudy got traded. And so was I think, like, and Amari Cooper was there for some time before he went to the Bills. If I want to talk about statistics, you know what? I don't think I should talk about it because it is so sad. Hell, I tried to summarize everything, but thanks to the wonders of AI now these days, I'm looking at it right now. They're either bottom 10 or at the bottom. Like, total points scored, dead last. Points per game, dead last. Okay, and you know what? Guess how many points per game that the Browns average? Tell me.
15.
Yes.
I was also going to say 15.
Ding, 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 ding. 50.2.
Oh my God.
Total offensive yards, 28 with 5,114. Like, and you want to talk about the defense and Myles Garrett? Bro, they allowed 435 total points allowed, 27th ranked. Points allowed per game, 27th ranked. Guess how many points they allowed per game?
27?
I'm going to say 32.
25.6.
Wow.
It is so bad. They've allowed 66 sacks with this bottom 31st and turnover differential. They're dead last, but guess how much the turnover differential is?
Minus 150. No, actually, no. That's turnover differential, not point differential. Minus 15. There we go.
What about you, John?
I'm going to say minus 21.
John, how the hell are you getting this? It's minus 22. They're minus 22.
Wow.
Like, and they're saying they're tied for the most giveaways with 34, 23 interceptions and 11 fumbles lost. That is how bad. And it was they struggled on offense. Guess who their leading passer was last season? Famous
Deshaun Watson.
Winston.
Right.
Winston.
Oh my God. Isn't there's like a stat somewhere?
Like, I actually have it. I had to have Gemini AI summarize it. I will share the screen with you, and you guys will be like, "What the hell am I reading?" Like, it's so bad. Like, look at this. Passing yards. Are you reading this?
Wow. And he didn't even hit 2,500 yards.
They didn't even hit the 21. Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb. Like, it was so bad.
Man, Like, how can they be this ineffective at quarterback? I think there was a stat where I saw either this year or last year
Mhm.
where Deshaun Watson was like 590 out of 592 quarterbacks in terms of success rate or something in the past 25 years.
I don't even know. I honestly don't even know.
That is depressing.
This is depressing. Even Gemini, which is a trial version of Google AI, it's probably depressed when I ask this question. It's probably depressed. That is how depressing this organization known as the Cleveland Browns is. Like, rushing yards, they didn't even have like a 600, 700 receiving yards guy. Hell, the Raiders probably outrushed them. Receiving yards, Jerry Jeudy was the only bright spot.
I think we have an update on the Deshaun Watson talent level. Apparently,
Oh, wow.
Albert Breer was saying, despite everything, Deshaun Watson, he's still the most talented quarterback on the roster.
That's really not saying much, though, when you have a 50-year-old man and two rookies. And Kenny Pickett.
No, correct.
Super Bowl champion.
Super Bowl champ Kenny Pickett. Put some respect in his name.
Well, when you have a guy that has more massages than passing touchdowns in the last 5 years, and he's still your best passer, that is, oh my God, that's sad.
Oh my God, John, you're killing us, man. But the only highlight of this Browns was the defense. Myles Garrett with 14 sacks. First team All-Pro. Grant Delpit was definitely a pickup. And Denzel Ward, he led the league with 19 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. And he's actually recognized by Jamar Chase as a top corner. And, of course, like Myles Garrett, Jerry Jeudy, Denzel Ward, Nick Chubb, and the coaching changes. Like, it was so bad. Like, I didn't even want to go through every single one of it, but I had AI to, like, summarize it. And it's just sad. And what they did in the offseason, they signed a bunch of players. Honestly, I don't want to go through all of them, but if I wanted to get, like, some of the major ones, like, they got linebacker Devin Bush, running back Dante Foreman, linebacker Jordan Hicks, Quentin Jefferson, defensive end, quarterback. Jameis Winston I'm looking at 2024. Oh my God, 2025. Okay, so let's see who they had. They signed a few players. Jerome Baker, linebacker. DeAndre Carter, basically a backup. Malik Collins, I'm still surprised he's there. Joe Flacco returns back to the Colts.
How is this happening? Joe Flacco is literally Tom Bradying right now.
Yep. And I don't know what to say. And then some other notable names like Deontay Johnson from the Ravens goes to the Browns. Like, dude, what a tailspin of a career for this dude. He's been in almost every single AFC North team except for the Bengals, I would say. Mm-hmm. Kevin Jenkins from the Bears as a guard. Cornelius Lucas, offensive tackle. Julian Okwara from the Cardinals, defensive end. And I thought this was interesting. Joe Tryon Shinoika from the Buccaneers, defensive end. Goes to the Browns. And then, of course, the trade. The Eagles traded Kenny Pickett they traded Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett to the Browns for QB Dorian Thompson-Robinson and the 2025 fifth round selection. I
Did you
thought
know- Sorry,
Yeah.
there's one more thing with Deshaun Watson, and I
Oh.
just saw this and I was reminded by it.
what?
He apparently got married.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
What?
This is his wife.
Oh my god! We're doing this. We're literally doing. They're showing the rings. Is that the? I have a really bad joke about this, but I
Go
don't.
ahead. Go
Oh
ahead.
god, I'm gonna. I think we're gonna get canceled when I say this. I think they're marking the number of massages with Deshaun Watson.
Jeez. What, a honeymoon's couples massage?
It's best if she takes both of those and just leaves him at home with that one.
Yeah.
I really thought you were gonna put a picture of a bottle of like massage oil up there, and that's his new wife.
Nah. I'm not that deep.
Yeah. But so basically they released a bunch of backups. So nothing much. But here's what they did in the draft. After all, they had the number 2 pick, but no, they decided to trade with the Jaguars for like a shit ton of picks in return. Pick 5, they take Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan. I thought it was interesting, mainly like a plug and play starter. Definitely going to start in that defensive line. I think the arm length is what people saying that's a major concern, but he fits this Jim Schwartz defensive 4-3. Basically, you'll take away one aspect of your offense and force you to like pass or like even run, something like that.
Yeah.
Picked round 2, pick 33, that linebacker Carson Schlesinger from UCLA. Him going this high, I was very surprised. I thought he would. I thought he was like a late 2nd round, early 3rd round pick. But apparently, he excelled in his combine. I want to say, especially with the fact that with JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Kamara, still still injured. But Schlesinger missed tackle. He missed very few tackles. Fast rangey linebacker, good coverage and tackling. So basically, you got JOK 2.0. And then we have running back Quinshon Judkins, who's been all over the news with the freaking Browns. Like,
Of course it's the Browns, man. They're the domestic violence magnet. That's what they are.
yes,
The
and they
entire
got
organization.
pick 33. Apparently, Quinshon Judkins, basically a good component to Jerome Ford and a potential replacement for Nick Chubb. Can be used as a backfield, as a fullback, and a receiver, breaking tackles, but character concerns. And then, of course, round 3, pick 67. They
That's
go
to say lightly.
Yeah, round 3, pick 67. They go Harold Fannin Jr. I thought that was interesting. So they're saying, or my understanding is, they don't think that David Njoku is gonna be healthy for another full season. So Harold Fannin Jr., he's from that Bowling Green in Ohio, so he basically stays at his home state. And he kind of works that way.
And he's more like a receiving tight end as well.
He's a receiving tight end, yeah. I don't think it's bad, so yeah.
It's basically a younger, faster version of David Njoku at that point.
And then the later rounds, like especially the round 3 picks, all the way to their dead last pick, it was crazy to read. I'm gonna go lightly. Round 3, pick 94, Dylan Gabriel, quarterback from Oregon. This is where we're about to see shit hit the fan. I mean,
Man, Mel Kiper. That was
Mel Kiper, and then like for those that weren't watching the draft, Mel Kiper goes. He's basically. I think I would agree with more with Mad Mel other than Mel Kiper in some cases, but holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
He was ranting and raving about Shador Sanders not being taken. This is where it gets interesting. Dylan Gabriel, great runner, but his arm talent is basically Brock Purdy 2.0. Round 4, I thought it was good. Dylan Sampson, running back from Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he's more of the speedy back, aka like a Kareem Hunt. And then round 5, Shador Sanders.
Man, this quarterback room is Deshaun Watson's not actually listed on the ESPN depth chart because they only list up to 4. A 4th string. They literally have 5 quarterbacks on the roster, and not a single one of them are actual capable starting quarterbacks. They are all backups.
So I think it's gonna be the biggest drinking game, or I think this will be like a good sports bet. Like those that actually want to bet on something. I wonder what the odds of Kenny Pickett of Joe Flacco taking over, and
there will be a lot of 300-pound men in the area of Cleveland who will die of alcoholic poisoning if they go betting on that. That's for sure.
Or I think Mel Kiper would bet the house on Shador Sanders.
Yes, he would.
He would. He's like, like if I could do my best Mel Kiper voice. Todd, you got to know about this. Like Shador Sanders, he is the best talent ever. Like it is very preposterous to see other quarterbacks being taken over when you know that Shador Sanders is number 1. And Mr. Anand and Mr. John, you are completely wrong with your analysis. Like this is pure absolute insanity. Like this is the worst type of fall that I've seen. I could compare this with my boy Trent Dilfer, like the same stupid ass Colts when all you had was Jim Harbaugh, give me a break and all that. Like that draft,
I'll take it. Yeah.
I think that draft broke the Shador Sanders thing, which it's a complete enigma. Like he was coached by his daddy.
I think the front office, or not front office, the front office was pressured in drafting Shador Sanders by the Haslams, because there's no way that Cleveland would spend a 3rd-round pick on Dylan Gabriel, who's presumably the quarterback that they're trying to make as a successor to whoever is the starting quarterback this year, and then go around and then get Shador Sanders in the 5th. I mean, it reeks of ownership meddling, and that it just gives more example to the fact that this is just a side hobby for these billionaire owners.
Yeah. And
right.
Yeah. And a couple of notes. I think this is like another big thing that we also need to discuss. Luckily, what they did is they fired Ken Dorsey, their offensive coordinator, and offensive line coach Andy Dickerson. What they did, I thought was surprising. You basically promoted Tommy Rees from tight end coach to offensive coordinator. So it's going to shift back to more of Kevin Stefanski's wide zone concept of a wide zone offense style. So you're going to be seeing a lot more runs. So if Judkins gets his shit together, maybe you see a lot more Dylan Sampson, Quinshon Judkins like running abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Jerome Ford also re-signed another deal, re-signed for like a 1-year deal. So maybe you see like a triple-headed style. I think it's just going to be, and then the receiving core, Jerry Jeudy, since he's there for like the long term, him, Deontay Johnson, and David Njoku, plus Harold Fannin Jr., they're going to be like your 4 targets. So there has to be some variety in the passing game. I mean, defensive line, it'll be a little bit more improved as long as you have Myles Garrett. But Mason Graham, Jeremiah Owuzu-Kamara, and Carson Swessinger. They definitely need to step up, but the additional veterans of like Devin Bush and Jordan Hicks could help out. Denzel, I think the Browns, they're kind of underrated in the secondary, like having
I was gonna say
Diabate. No, I think it was like Denzel Ward, Martin Emerson Jr., Greg Newsome, who could play the nickel, DeMonte, and then also Grant Delpit as that safety role. Ronnie Hickman, they're they're good. Do not underestimate them, but I just don't see it, man. It's very tough to analyze what the Browns will do. I think they'll probably go for another losing season, and I think Kevin Stefanski will get fired.
Yeah.
And I would not be so shocked if Andrew Berry leaves because he needs to get the hell out of Cleveland.
I think he needs to go somewhere out on the West
Coast.
Come
back to Philly
and go to the NFC side. I don't know.
It's depressing, and I don't even know if I have a Shandar player to pick because all of them suck.
I was gonna say Cedric Tillman. I think he showed some flashes last year.
Okay,
I could see him take a step up if Jerry Jeudy is
injured.
Yeah, I could see that too. But yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna be for me. My Shandar player will be either between Jerry Jeudy and or Cedric Tillman.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, final division predictions, I guess. John, we'll go ahead with you first, since you're the guest.
Well, obviously, I have the Ravens winning that division. I think they're way too talented not to. I think they do crack 13 wins. I think they go 13-4. Win the division, and they got the potential to win the AFC. I think they're going to come second to probably Buffalo.
Okay.
Second, I'll probably say Cincinnati. This division's very bad, and I know I had them barely cracking 6 or 7 wins, but that's saying something. Especially with how bad Pittsburgh and Cleveland are. Then I got Pittsburgh just barely behind them, probably at 5-12, like you said, and then of course Cleveland, who will be lucky to win 3 games next year, unless they get the quarterback together.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't see happening, but yeah, that's my final predictions. Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, and then Cleveland.
Okay. Zakshak?
So I have I did like 2 versions of the schedule. So I have the Ravens going 13-4 at best. They easily win the AFC North. And the Bungles get their shit together. At best, they will go 12-5. Potential contender for a wild card. And lo and behold, to no one's surprise, I have the Steelers going 10-7, at least 11-6 at best, because they have this bullshit called the high-end talent, which is going to carry them.
Wow.
It's a high-end talent, baby. You cannot deny the power that is Steelers football. And then I have the Browns going I have the Factory of Sadness going 5-12 at worst.
Yeah.
6-11 at best. Like, it is a
6 games.
But
you think they can win?
But here's
6
the thing.
games?
But here's the thing. I have them winless in the AFC North. They do not win a single game.
So so you're saying winless in the AFC North, but which other 6 games do they win? They have Green Bay, Detroit,
Tennessee.
Minnesota.
They'll probably Tennessee. I think
Okay, that's one.
Jacksonville, because I don't know what the hell they're doing.
I think they're improving.
They're improving.
I'm pretty high on Jacksonville this year.
Okay, but like it's like it could be a tweener game at best. I don't
Okay.
have the full schedule in front of me, so wait. You know
Here,
what?
here. Let me show it. Let me
Okay,
show it.
let's do it. Let's do the break. Let's do the.
So you're saying Tennessee?
I say Tennessee.
They don't
And
play
I would
Jacksonville.
say, and I would, and you're gonna, okay, hear me out.
If you say
I-
they beat Green Bay, we're gonna have some problems.
It's not Green Bay, dude. Hell
Okay.
no, it's not
Okay.
gonna be Green Bay. No, you know what? I have the Green Bay committing mass murder on television against the
I
Browns.
agree.
So I think you may need to. I think you may need to put this on a different channel.
Oh, it's at 12 p.m. It's gonna be only locally televised. There's
Okay,
no
good.
way.
Okay, so I would say for either Cincinnati or Baltimore, those could count as a either one of them could be a win because by then they would have rested their starters
Here?
at the bottom, at the very bottom at best. Because hear me out, if Baltimore sweeps them, Cincinnati will probably rest their starters. Like if they're secured a spot, they could win. Oh, but no. I had the Browns losing in the AFC North completely. So I have the Jets.
Exactly.
So I have the Jets.
Okay.
I have the Titans.
Okay, that's 2.
Oh my God, you guys are gonna hate me. I had the Vikings.
4 more wins.
I had the Vikings.
Vikings. You think the
Hear
Vikings
me
are
out.
worse than the Browns?
Hear me out. JJ McCarthy has yet to prove himself, and with
But I trust. I trust. Oh my God, who's the? I trust Kevin O'Connell more than I trust this dude, the Browns head coach.
Oh, Kevin Stefanski.
Kevin Stefanski. I mean, Kevin O'Connell took Sam Darnold to the playoffs and a 13-win, team. So, I mean, realistically, if they have a shot, it's probably New York.
Jets, Titans, Dolphins, Raiders,
Okay,
and possibly the Patriots.
so that's 5.
I said it.
That's 5. And then Minnesota.
One of them was like 5 out of 12. I said my other one
Okay.
was 5 for 12. But if I had a 6th win, I would say Minnesota. They will get upset.
Bruh, I don't know.
You know
man.
what? You know
You
what?
must
Screw
be-
it. Beat the dull moment. October
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, as Fluffy would say.
I'm not gonna do
it.
a jersey bet as opposed to
Okay.
jersey.
Ready to get out of here?
Alrighty. Let's finish off.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, obviously, I think we're all agreeing on this. Ravens 1, Bengals 2, Steelers 3. Steelers, I have really no hope for. Bengals or Browns, they're going to be number 1 or number 2 overall pick in the year. At the end of the year, I think Bengals, I have high hope for. I predict 11 to 13 wins because I think that offense is going to be one of the best offenses in the league. But we'll see. All right. Well, that's going to be it for us today. If you guys have enjoyed, please leave us a review at one of the 4 podcast platforms that we host our podcast on: Apple, Google, Spotify, and Pocket Cast. Or Rakshak.
You can also find us on YouTube, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're also on our following social media platforms: Instagram, Threads, Twitter/X, with the username all lowercase at NFL Masala 2022. That is at NFL Masala 2022.
And thank you again, John, for coming on to the show. We really enjoyed your takes on the
man.
Bengals and
We had
everything else.
Yeah,
I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you. I'd love to come back.
always,
Yes, sir.
You're always
Yes, sir.
invited.
Whenever we have another episode that you're interested in, just let us know. Whichever
I
division.
definitely want to be on. Have you guys done the NFC North breakdown yet?
No, that's
Not
going to be
yet.
a little bit later. So
Yeah,
that's going
I
to be
definitely
either.
want to be on that one.
Okay.
All right,
okay.
we'll keep you in doubt. Yes.
next week or the week after, probably.
Awesome. I'm there.
All righty. That's gonna be it for us today. So we're gonna hit you guys with our signature outro. Go Pack Go.
And fly, Eagles, fly. Take care and have a good night. Deuces.